I wanted to preface this review by saying that I am, by no stretch of the imagination, a VR puzzle person. I've done my best to avoid puzzle titles and have hardly touched the ones I currently own. For me, virtual reality seems like a wasted venture on a puzzle game. That said, I was more than pleasantly surprised by Transpose. At first, I thought this was a dud in the making, as I traversed this clever yet lacking world with little to no options on how I traversed, but more on that later. After the first hour of play, I thought to myself, well, hopefully this isn't too long. The following day I found myself imagining this world, deep in thought about each puzzle I had already seen, and the countless possibilities there could have been to solve each one. I was hooked, and I didn't even realize it. That's one of the things I love so much about this game. It's so subtle. From the music and level design to the art style and unintimidatingly massive environments. This game is a fully tranquil experience, never sacrificing its entertainment value for a cheap thrill or an innovative sleight of hand. The concept is very simple. In each puzzle, you will have a certain number of echoes that you have collected throughout previous levels. Each echo, which is represented by a wristband on your right arm, is a copy of yourself. The best way to describe this is by using an example. For instance, say the cube that you need is resting on a platform that will take some teleportation to get to. After moving to this platform, you notice that the previous platforms leading to the cube have vanished as soon as you left them. To complete the puzzle, you will need to throw the cube to the platform where the receptacle rests. Then, as you start a new echo, which again is a copy of yourself, you will watch your previous self as it does exactly as you did to throw the cube to the proper platform. You'll watch as they go through each identical motion till the inevitable well-placed toss of the cube. Finally, you'll catch the cube, place it into the receptacle, and move on your way to the next puzzle. Let's get into some more of the details. The levels start off fairly simple, allowing you to become more and more familiar with the game's mechanics. It didn't take long, however, before I found myself tinkering with each possible outcome in any given room. As you can imagine, watching 3 to 5 echoes repeatedly do their thing can begin to get tedious and time-consuming. But the developers had this in mind, allowing you to fast-forward time within the room using a slider on your left forearm. You can even use this mechanic to walk faster in each puzzle, which is a nice addition to the present movement mechanics. The challenge and appeal of this game only continues to deepen as gravity becomes subjective to your orientation, or as platforms need to be shifted at just the right time using multiple different dials. I haven't had a dull moment yet, though after about an hour or so, any formidable challenge would typically send me packing. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, as it seems to simply be mental exhaustion due to the complexity and intrigue of each challenge. Again, not a bad thing. But, since we're on the topic of bad things, this game does have some, and one of them near broke it for me. It's currently Q4 of 2018, and by now, I believe all developers looking to develop virtual reality titles should have learned this lesson, or at the very least, learn from each other's mistakes. As developer Secret Location is no stranger to the VR arena, creating the community-hailed bullet hell title Blasters of the Universe, I would hope they wouldn't fall into the same mistakes we have seen time and time again. When starting the game, I noticed that my character was defaulted with click turning along with point of view movement. This means that while holding the move button on the left hand, I needed to look in the direction I would like my character to move. Pointing the move controller did nothing. Perfect, time to change the settings, I thought. To my dismay, I found myself staring at a controller scheme with no options to change any of it. This instantly put a sour taste in my mouth. Again, it's November of 2018. We have been doing this for a couple years now, and this game didn't introduce any new or ground-shaking movement schemes. Mechanics from titles like Rec Room, Raw Data, Apex Construct, or any number of dual move controller compatible games could have been used here. Instead, we are meant to suffer. All jokes aside, this really did make me want to rage quit, even if it was only for a second. The upside? I forgot about all of this after playing for about 20 minutes or so. The game mechanics worked modestly well, and as long as you're willing to set your inner gamer rage aside, really didn't need any tweaking. I only wish I could walk and turn my head to look at the massive spaces this game throws me into without consequently walking off the ledge. That would have been nice. I have mixed feelings when it comes to the overall use of graphics in Transpose. On one hand, the polygon character models paired with interesting, digitized bridges bringing a familiar yet intriguing art style to the game. My issues rest solely in the level designs themselves. The larger areas in the game display an impressive size as portals can be plenty far apart, but looking into the distance for anything more than a second will instantly pull you out of the immersion, as you see a highly pixelated background that seems to interact and move like a low-res still image. This gets better as you progress, but always seems to be there. When in each puzzle, I found myself simply wishing there was more to the environment. Take that with a grain of salt, however, as these sometimes barren yet intriguing rooms set the stage for this transcendent experience. I've never thought a puzzle game was worth recommending for a VR experience, especially when considering the ample and impressive experiences out there to be had. This would be my first exception. While the visuals at times can leave something to be desired, the overall experience had in a VR environment makes up for just about all the game's shortcomings. It was impressive. Overall, this game is great, and I loved the experience. It's a game that I would highly recommend to all puzzle fans out there, and would recommend to any skeptics as well. If you're looking for a serene and well-executed puzzle experience at a fair price, then look no further.